While Tommy and Angelica are hanging out at Susie's house, the three of them are watching an edutainment video on dental hygiene. Susie explains that her parents had gotten the video because her older brother Edwin had recently lost one of his baby teeth and received money from the tooth fairy after he put the tooth under his pillow. Angelica doesn't believe the story until Edwin shows that he really did lose a tooth by smiling at her and showing that he had lost one of his front teeth. This gives Angelica an idea. The next day, at Tommy's house, Angelica tells Tommy her idea. She wants to get rich off of getting money from the tooth fairy by getting teeth any way she can. At first, Angelica's interested in Tommy's teeth, but decides against it when she sees that Tommy's only got one tooth that's just starting to come through. Angelica sees Chuckie's prominent front teeth and sets her sights on them. Angelica tries, but fails numerous times to knock out Chuckie's teeth, with the attempts being more elaborate each time. At the end, Tommy and Chuckie decide they no longer want to be part of Angelica's plan, but Angelica, after overhearing their conversation, appears with a pair of toy pliers, declaring she's going to get the teeth if it's the last thing she does. After a chase around the house, Angelica runs into a wall, knocking her out. Once she came round, she deliriously lied to Tommy and Chuckie, as if she were talking to her dad, that the babies had eaten all the ice cream sandwiches. Tommy and Chuckie were puzzled by what she meant. The combination of the ice cream sandwiches and the crash into the wall led to her spitting out a tooth. Rather than being upset that it was her own tooth, Angelica is excited and convinced that this will make her rich and the baby's not going to get anything. The next day, Tommy and Chuckie are talking about how they think Angelica probably got a bunch of money from the tooth fairy for her tooth. When Drew and Angelica come by, and Stu asks Angelica about her first visit from the tooth fairy, she just huffs and storms past into the playpen. Turns out Angelica's angry because all she got for her tooth was a dime. She ends up giving the dime to Tommy and Chuckie makes a comment about how you can't please some people. Chuckie's teeth become anthropomorphic with square glasses and buck teeth of their own. One of them waves, "Bye, kids." The grown-ups are having a costume party at Drew and Charlotte's house. Angelica is sharing her bed with Tommy, Chuckie, Phil, and Lil. Lou's reading them the story of Aladdin. Angelica is excited about the part where Aladdin makes a wish with a magic lamp and wonders what she could get if she had a magic lamp. After Lou kisses everyone goodnight, he leaves to go downstairs to the party, and Angelica gets out of bed. She takes a toy lamp, which she refers to as Little Miss Homemaker battery-operated Halligan-style magic lamp, out of her toy box and thinks it's a magic lamp that will grant her wishes. Tommy, remembering his own experience with wishes, advises her to be careful with her wish, as it might really come true. Angelica rubs the lamp and makes her wish. She wants the world to be like the circus, with candy and cookies, lots of fun stuff, and animals and clowns. Phil adds that he would like pirates and cowboys. Will wants spacemen and gorillas, and Chuckie says he would like a big moose. Angelica puts the lamp down and says they just need to sit back and watch everything happen. They sit and wait, but their wish doesn't appear to come true. Angelica declares that the lamp must be busted. She picks it up and throws it, causing it to shatter. She goes to bed and tells the babies not to wake her up. She doesn't want to hear any more about Aladdin and his dumb old lamp. The babies are disappointed that the wish didn't come true. They also decide to go to sleep. Downstairs, the party has started. The adults are all wearing a variety of costumes. Stu is dressed like Tarzan. He makes a Tarzan yell, and the sound travels upstairs and wakes up Tommy. He wakes up Chuckie and the twins, telling them that something is going on downstairs. They all hear Stu's Tarzan call, and Phil thinks it might be an elephant. Chuckie thinks it's probably just the TV. Lil says it might be an elephant watching TV. Tommy says there's only one way to find out, and he has his friends follow him out of bed. Chuckie asks if they should wake up Angelica, but Tommy reminds him of what she said about not wanting to be woken up. They leave her to sleep, and they go downstairs. Tommy sees Stu and Dee Dee dressed as Tarzan and Jane, respectively. Phil will notice a pony and a cowgirl, their parents Howard and Betty. Chuckie points out a monkey, which is Drew, in a gorilla suit. None of the babies realize their true identities of the people in the costumes. Lil sees Randy dressed like Elvis Presley and asks who he is. Tommy says it's the king. Phil, Lil, and Tommy think that their wish came true after all. Everything is different. Chuckie isn't convinced, asking how they can be sure that this is what they truly wish for. His doubts are removed when a moose walks by. The doorbell rings and Dee Dee answers it. The arrival is her cousin Bucky. He isn't wearing his costume yet and says he'll put it on later. He wants to see the kids and is disappointed to hear that they're asleep. He'd wanted to play Pull My Finger with them. He asks Dee Dee if she would like to play, and she declines. Drew and Stu get into a disagreement over who has claim to title King of the Jungle. Stu says it's Tarzan, but Drew says it's King Kong, and Stu says King of the Apes. Drew asks Stu if he would like to step outside, ostensibly to fight, but he tricks Stu and closes the door after him, locking Stu outside. The babies find some punch and would like to have some. Tommy says he can get Dee Dee to give them some, but realizes he doesn't know where she is. Bill and Will don't know where their parents are either. Tommy says they must be around somewhere, and he leads his friends off to look. They crawl away, just as it's revealed that Dee Dee is standing right there, getting herself some punch. Standing outside, Stu sees Drew through the window and knocks on the glass. Drew walks over to the window and closes the shade. Stu sees an open window upstairs and gets an idea. The babies are unable to locate their parents, and Tommy comes to the realization that, when they made their wish, they must have ended up changing their parents into the costume characters. Chuckie laments that they ever made the wish, saying that the new world is even scarier than the old one. Tommy doesn't think everything is that scary, but changes his mind when they see Bucky standing there, wearing just a diaper. The babies scream and run away as Bucky requests they pull his finger. They run under a table, which Bucky crashes into. Stu is outside a window, hanging off a trellis, but is unable to get anyone's attention. He tends to climb further up the open window, but his loincloth gets snagged on the trellis. The babies run upstairs, and Chuckie asks what they're going to do. Tommy says there's only one thing they can do. They need to find the magic lamp and wish for everything to revert to normal. Bucky shows up, and they again run away from him. He chases them into the bathroom, where he trips on the bath mat. The babies run out of the bathroom and close the door. A picture beside the door falls down and lands against the doorknob, trapping Bucky inside the bathroom. He rattles the doorknob and calls for the babies to let him out, but they run off back into Angelica's room and throw a bunch of toys against the bedroom door in an attempt to keep it from being open. Using the drain pipe, Stu has managed to reach the open window, but just then a police car arrives, and a light is shone onto Stu. The drain pipe comes loose and Stu almost falls, but he ends up having his loincloth get caught on the drain pipe. He tries to explain to the officers that this is his brother's house, and he got locked out, but the cops don't believe him. Then he mocks Stu for calling himself Tarzan. In Angelica's room, the babies are lying asleep in front of the blocked door. Angelica wakes up needing to use the bathroom. The babies try to prevent her from leaving the bedroom, telling her it's not safe. There are spacemen, pirates, and a moose around. Angelica doesn't believe them, and they try to escape that the wish they made on the lamp really came true. Their parents are gone, and they're being chased by a giant baby. Angelica tells them they were just dreaming and leaves the room. At the top of the stairs, she points down to where Drew and Dee Dee are cleaning up, and Chaz is sleeping on a windowsill. The grown-ups are no longer wearing their costumes. She asks the baby if it looks to them like the world has changed and that what she said about the dream was true. Tommy figures that perhaps Angelica is right. Angelica walks to the bathroom door and pushes the painting aside that had been lying across the floor. The door opens, and there stands the diapered Bucky, who says, "Pull my finger." Angelica reacts to this with a huge scream. Stu is sitting on the back of the police car while the cops are inside of a donut shop. They, along with the waitress, laugh at Stu and claim to be Tarzan.